Let's check in with Jason Christian. We're going to look at Lake Crowley up there in the Owens Valley. And Jason is our guy up on Lake Crowley. He is with Wildfly Anglers, the owner of that outfit. How you doing, Jason?
Doing very well today, Rick. Thank you for asking.
Great to hear. And just kind of give us an overview. What's going on up there on Crowley?
Well, we've had a pretty windy spring, which has benefited us in some ways. It's also made fishing and guiding a little bit more difficult. On the positive, it's kept water temps down quite a bit compared to last season. So last year on July 4th, I remember seeing temps, surface temps granted, of 74 degrees. We've been bouncing back and forth between about 66 degrees in the morning up to about 68 by mid-afternoon, late afternoon. That's really helped, keep the algae down. We've had a couple of good blooms already, but then we kind of follow that bloom with a wind event, which will help to clean the lake back up. When we see like consistent weather patterns of 80 plus degrees and no wind, then that's when we really see that algae start to kick off. So that's a positive, keeping the water cleaner and a little bit cooler. It definitely helps the trout out. However, the fish are still on the same pattern that they were last year. We've been fishing really deep lately, a lot deeper than any of us would like to be. But with some new tactics that we have started implementing in the last couple of years, we can, really get it done. And it actually gives us that variety and opportunity to go deeper using these sliding bobber rigs that we've got rather than having a fixed indicator. So we've been really ranging lately where we've been seeing success, probably 27 to 34, 35 feet. Ideally, I would like to keep people in a perfect world from 12 to 18 foot range. It just works a lot better with hook sets and casts, managing line, all that. But having the option to go deep definitely helps us to keep people on fish.
Jason, is the depth kind of then dependent a lot in your mind on that temperature? So if you're kind of out there, would you adjust based on the water temp that you're looking at and then kind of adjust from there? Or is it more just a kind of a trial and error basis?
It's that question's hard to answer. It's somewhat of a yes and a no. Right now we're kind of in a transitionary stage where pretty soon we're going to have fish start to move up into the shallows, and it kind of counteracts the last statement of saying high water temps and fish going deeper. Right now, that's just where we're finding fish. It seems to go through that pattern. We start out in the spring and we can get them, and on opening day I was getting them as shallow as 12 feet. And then we got some really good fishing through second week of May into basically first week of June. That 3-week period was just prime Crowley conditions, and we were fishing mainly in 16 to 21 feet of water, 22 feet of water. And then we kind of go through this cycle. Things heat up, we get that first algae bloom, temperatures come up, fish start to shift into the deeper water. And then as we transition into later July, fish will actually move into the shallows, even though we have warm water temps, just because there's so much food available. So right now, the weeds are really growing up out in McGee Bay and shallower areas like that. And the perch they've spawned, they've been on their bed. So soon we'll see a good supply of perch fry. And that's when we'll move up into the shallows and start targeting, water anywhere from, 6 to 14 feet. And we'll start using a lot of other insects, calabatus, perch fry, damsels, all that good stuff. The midge is still the staple bug out on Crowley. But as we move into the shallows, the flies change as well. When we're in deeper conditions, it seems like we're using a little larger flies, flashier patterns. Lately, it's been all blood midges and some patterns with some flash. Mixing up your top bug. We're usually running 2 flies so we can kind of target a few different depths. But if we've taken any stomach samples from trout lately, it's all real large blood midges, size 12 to 14. And then as we move up into those shallows, everything will become much more natural. We'll downsize tippet, going down to 5X, fishing midges that are going to be a much more natural presentation, a lot more grays, a lot more blacks, and smaller in size, 16s, 18s, and so on.
Now, you're not there yet, though. You're still kind of in that deeper water than, at least at the moment. Now,
Right.
And again, so you're just kind of following it, and if you're in terms of those shallows, or again, are you looking a little bit more like, okay, temperature is this, I'm going to start following up there? It kind of goes back to that same question.
Yeah, it's more of I suppose when I get to this time of year and I know it's deep, I know that soon those fish will start to move in. It's really just comes more, I think, from experience. And I started fishing Crowley Lake when I was 18 years old. So it was back in 2003, 2004. So I think just a lot of years of seeing the same cycles go down. Come July, those perch fry are going to be coming into the picture as a food source, and that's really going to bring them into the shallows. I do think, yes, with a higher temperature and with the algae, it drives fish deeper. They're definitely seeking that thermocline. It's much cooler at 30 feet than it is on the surface. So, those fish, you catch them, they're diving right back down to the bottom. So that brings on another point of, handling trout. We definitely want to get some photos of them, when we get some nicer ones, but we're always really trying to get those fish released and back down as quickly as possible.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. So we're in that stage right now, where that temperature can have some high mortality on fish. So that handling is kind of important. You get your picture, get it back, right?
Absolutely. And if it's not a real worthy fish, you've already got a fish and a picture of a fish of one size. We're not taking pictures at this point. We're trying to just get them back down there and not handle them so much. I mean, the best release you can do is net the fish, the fly falls out, and we just take a quick look. Oh, that's a nice one, and we let it go.
Perfect.
So.
Good advice. All right. And then just real quickly, just to kind of finish it up, what would you say would be your I think you said the blood midges, and so you're when you're doing these depths, is that give me your top 2 or 3 flies then that you're using?
Yeah, blood midge with different variations of bead color, white, black nickel, even copper. That's something that changes around quite a bit. Even the color variations on the blood midge can change quite a bit between wine thread or actual blood midge colored tubing, or just a red midge tubing. Some days they like it bright. I'll even tie some with some flash underneath the midge tubing and brighten it up even that much more. So, Crowley's kind of a game of switching it up, right? That's what I tell people all the time when they are out on the boat, or if they call and ask for advice is, move around. If you've got a good fish finder on your boat, look for marks. You want to pull up and see some marks and see fish feeding in that bottom, 2 foot of the water column. That means they're actually down there and actively feeding. When you see fish, if you're not getting bit, start changing it up. Change your flies, change your depth. Start tight in the morning. Use a blood midge early, stay within 6 inches of the bottom. As the morning progresses, you might find that you start getting bit more on your top fly. So that's a sign that maybe those fish are coming up off the bottom a little bit more. That's generally when I'll switch to a more natural fly. A standard go-to fly out here is just a gray bodied fly, any variation of wire. You could look in my fly box and you're going to see about 20 different patterns. They're going to all look pretty consistent, and they're all going to have different sizes, different bead colors. So when it really comes down to it, we're fishing, flashy stuff. We're fishing blood midges. We're fishing grays, blacks, and greens. And then you just can make a large number of variations just off of those alone. So yeah, paying attention to how your bite is going. Like I said, starting tight to the bottom, blood midge in the morning. That's always a really good go-to. And as you notice them starting to feed on your upper fly, pull that rig up off the bottom a little bit more. If you stop getting bit, change your fly. Try a gray one, try, a white bead, try a copper bead, just variation is what it's all about. And as a guide, when I've got multiple rods in the water, it's really helpful. I'll put one person with this at this depth and another person here. And if that person's consistently getting bit, well, we're going to be switching over to that pretty quickly,
Yeah. Great. Great. That's some great advice. Really good, Jason. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Really helpful for people kind of looking to do a trip now. If they want to get a guide up there, how can they get in touch with you?
You can reach me through multiple avenues. The best is definitely my website, wildflyanglers.com. You could call me directly on my business line, 760-258-6907. I also have the Instagram handle at Wildfly Anglers, and I also have the Wildfly Anglers Facebook page. So we got all the bases covered there. And I also am affiliated with Rick Sports Center in Mammoth Lakes. I've worked with him for a lot of years, and you can always, if you're in town, go in there and ask for my name and get a card or whatever. So
great. Awesome. That was great. Really good report. A lot of good stuff, a lot of good information. This is that was Jason Christians. He's with Wildfly Anglers. I'll put his contact information and a link in the post as well, so that you can get in touch with him, and you got his information there as well. He's the guy on Crowley. He's the one that we know and trust up there with getting you on fish. And as you could tell from his report, things change. It could be something completely different 30 days from now. So keep abreast of the situation and check back again. We'll check back with Jason as the summer progresses and we get into the really hot days down in August and September, and see how things are going and where things are at. But in the meantime, like I said, if you want to get a hold of him, I'll put the link in the post, or you can contact us and we'll get you in touch. And we'll see you right here next time on the Backcast.